Hello and welcome to Ace TCG. Key here, well, from Ace TCG of course, and today we're actually going to be taking a look at a ShineGreymon deck profile for BT4. Now, this is my new setup, so kind of, so I'm actually looking at starting to stream a little bit. I'm still a bit nervous about it because I've never properly streamed before, but if that's something that you're interested in, what I'm thinking is just if 3 or 4 times a week, I'd stream for about an hour and a half to 2 hours on those days, and during that it should be playing whatever the current meta is, or I have a deck prexy for BT5, and yeah, it'd just be gameplay for that time. So if you're interested in that, leave a comment. That'd be great for me to know. But yeah, let's get into the deck profile. So yeah, let's get straight into it. We'll start our deck profile like I start most of my deck profiles, with the babies. So actually looking at the babies, I've decided to run 3 Uppermon in this list. So if you don't know what Uppermon does, so as you'll see now in the chat box section that it will be for my stream, I'm just going to leave it like that for now. I'm going to actually pop up a little bit of a UI to show you the actual card art a little bit more in depth, and the just see what the card effect is if you'd just like to see it a bit more that way. But yeah, for those who don't know what Uppermon does, it has the effect of when attacking once per turn, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, you can draw a card. So it's really nice draw, and in this deck, again, like most yellow decks, you actually want to be kiting around that 3 security, so you want to be bouncing back and forth basically, and I would run 4 of this, but when testing War Greymon, I really just liked this setup of 3 Uppermon and 2 Coromon. It was really nice, and the reason that I'm doing this is because ShineGreymon minuses 4Ks from its effect, and being able to swing and minus something by 1k and not have to use 2 of Shine's effects on a 5k card is really nice, and it can come in clutch a little bit at times with the Coromon. So if you don't know what Coromon does, it has the inheritable effect of, when attacking once per turn, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1000 DP. So again, both of them being linked to you being on 3 or lower security, so definitely watch out for that and make sure that you don't forget that that is a requirement of the babies in the deck. But yeah, pretty strong, not too bad overall. Moving on to our rookies. Next up, we are running 4 of the Memory Patamon. Now, this card is so critical in this deck because ShineGreymon is actually a 4 cost to Digivolve. So Patamon has the inheritable effect of, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted by dropping its DP to 0, you gain 1 memory. So when you go into a ShineGreymon, when this is in your stack, you're able to gain 1 memory back, and it can still be your turn so that you can do additional plays as well as wiping your opponent's board. So yeah, very nice. Definitely running 4 of this. I was looking back and forth because it is a tight fit in this deck because you have so many things that you actually want to run, but definitely decided to run the 4 of this Patamon. Next up, we have probably Yellow's best rookie in the game. Well, one of the best rookies in the game being Pulsemon. I think the other, one of the other ones that is contesting it is maybe the Jamming Vmon. I saw a thread talking about it the other day, but Pulsemon to me, as such a yellow main, this card just outlines value really. So if you don't know what Pulsemon does, its effect is, on play, if you have 3 or more security, you draw 1 card. Then it also has the effect of, on play, if you have 3 or less security, you gain 1 memory. So if you're actually on that position where you want to be, where you want to be just on 3, then you actually gain both of those effects. So on play, you'll get a draw and you'll gain a memory back. So this turns into a 2 cost rookie, which has the undraw effect of the Gabumon, which is the blue rare from set 1. Is it Gabumon? I think it's Gabumon. Losing my mind. But yeah, this card is absolutely insane. Super nice value for this deck because you want to be getting so many pieces to your hand. You really want to be drawing those Tamer cards, but also other cards to help make sure that you can efficiently get to places and not be too bricky, because it can be bricky for yellow. If you've ever played yellow, it really can be a bricky deck. And Pulsemon could really help. I was back and forth on this because I really liked the idea of running more of the 2 cost vanillas, which we'll look at now. But that draw is so critical in the deck to help consistency that you're definitely going to be running 4 of that, 100%. Let me just move that light out the way. So next up, we're running 2 Salamon and 2 of the Tsukayamon. So these are just vanilla 2-drop rookies, and the reason that I'm running a 2 and a 2 is because of set 1 Omni. So if you don't know what set 1 Omni does, it chooses, so on Digivolve, it chooses one of your opponent's Digimon, and then it deletes all Digimon with the same name. And the very small chance that it could come up that I have 2 of the same ones out, and then they choose to do that, I like the idea of slightly being able to evolve, like get away from that. And those little things in TCGs really do help you in circumstances. That can be a game in that match. So little things like that are critical. Again, as I mentioned, I was tempted not to run the Pulsemon and to run these, but if you're on 3 memory, it turns into a pseudo vanilla 2 cost anyway, which also allows you to then draw a card. So it's definitely definitely run the Pulsemon, definitely. But yeah, and to finish off our rookies, I'm actually running 2 of the recovery Patamon. So this came in the 0-0 promo pack, I believe. And I was looking at the deck, and this is actually the only recovery that I have in this, which is obviously super low for yellow. It's something that yeah. Sorry about the light, by the way. I'm still kind of getting used to a setup. I bought a few new things, but I'm still getting used to like light glare and stuff like that. So you'll have to bear with me with that. But the Patamon is really nice. You definitely do need a little bit of recovery there, just in case an emergency happens. So the Patamon, it just has an on-play effect of if you have 1 or fewer security, you recover 1. Really nice and can come in clutch if you're just on that 1. So ideally in this deck, you want to have been pushed down to 1, and then you can go up to 2, for example, and have more survivability. But I'll show you now some of the plays and the reasons why I run a lot of the lineups that I do. So I'm actually running 4 ShineGreymon, which is just a normal 1 Digivolve cost vanilla champion for yellow. Really, really nice. Really, really helps you get and climb up faster and cheaper, which is always fantastic. But this is the main reason that I'm running the line that I'm running. So this is just very, very similar to like everything else that everyone else is running for yellow, really. But this is Pidomon, I don't know. I prefer to say Pidomon. It has a 1 Digivolve cost, and it's just a 1 Digivolve cost blocker that has 5k. But when you're able to, so if you have your memory tamer out, putting you to 3, you're able to play a 2 cost rookie, play a blocker, still be your turn, and then if you're in a tough situation in that scenario, you could then play the Patamon and get an instant effect going off. And this is also the reason that I'm not actually running the Recovery Salamon, which is the on deletion, if you have 3 or less security, you recover 1. But I find out situations like this can really come in clutch, because it means that you can block if you need to and then still have the survivability to be able to wipe your opponent's board or just deal with your opponent's cards when and if you need to. So yeah, really, really nice. And yeah, a little bit more of an explanation as to why I'm running these more than anything. I really like that play, and I like the idea of being able to have little scenarios like that where the value of running these cards and this all really comes together and comes in clutch. Now in this deck, I'm also actually running 2 Unimon. So in the slot in my other yellow decks, I've actually been looking at different cards. There were some really nice ones from set 4 that came out that I'm just thinking, that's cool, maybe I should try this. But in this deck, because I'm not running as much recovery, and because they're just like, there are things that maybe like the only real reason that this would struggle is against super aggressive decks, so the blocker comes in useful. Now, that being said, it is a downside that it's 6k and this is 5k and this is 6k, because they're all within target of the Yellow War Greymon still in set 4, so you have to be very wary of that. Don't expect your blockers to be really doing anything against Yellow War Greymon. These are mainly here for anything with big security punch, which can just wipe out my security, and that can be really painful for yellow. So what I want to do is run stuff like this to try and deal with the stuff that's being played now to counter Yellow War Greymon, which is a lot of basically security attack, which can really, really hurt it. So yeah, pretty standard really. Nothing too out of the ordinary for my champions. But let's take a look at my ultimates now. So again, this is one that you'll have seen a lot in the meta. This is War Growlmon. This card is still just insane and had to have a space in this deck, because also it links with this ability of doing the -4, the same that Shine does. Being able to do this and then go into a Shine can really help you clear up boards a little bit more, and that's really nice. So War Growlmon has the effect of main a Digiburst 2, and one of your opponent's Digimon gets -4000 DP for the turn. Now this is, yeah, like I said, it works really, really well in the deck. It works in tandem with the Patamon, so you can actually get a memory back from doing this with that Patamon. We have other minus effects from this, and this again can just make your Shine wiping boards a better capability, and just mean that you have a really better chance at wiping those boards, making your opponent so much further behind. And also we're actually running /Angemon in this list, so the combo of going -4000 with War Growlmon and then going into a slash is the perfect strategy to kill megas, and means that I don't necessarily have to waste a ShineGreymon, because obviously we can only run 4 and you do want more in this deck at times, you really do. So next we have ShineGreymon. So yeah, it's all coming together now. I absolutely love this card, and I'm running 3 of it because in my ultimate lines I really like to have like a little bit of different choices, especially in this deck and especially in yellow. So if you don't know what ShineGreymon does, it has the effect of during your turn this Digimon is also treated as a yellow, so watch out for that, of course. Like you can do everything as if it would normally. The only thing that you have to be careful of with this card is obviously it's still a red card when it's in your security. So if you use your TK Takashi to get it out of your security and add it to your hand, you will not regain a recovery from that because it's still in your security. That effect of during your turn will only be on board state. Now, its main effect is Digiburst 2, and you may play a red or yellow Tamer from the cost of 4 or less from your hand. And the brilliant thing about this, unlike the other Rise that we're actually running, is that the on-play effects actually go off. So you will be able to play anything, and then if you play your TK from this, you're able to like fix things, get stuff out from your security, and help extra value. Really nice. But also it has a really nice when attacking inheritable of if you have a Tamer in play, one of your opponent's Digimon will gain minus 2000 DP for the turn, which is fantastic with the mix of the Shine, because it means that you can just leave something on 2k if they have, for example, a blocker out, and concentrate other areas, and then when you swing, if it's still your turn, then you can do that minus 2000 before they could block, and fully help again clear the board. So little bits here and there really help the deck get there. And to actually finish our ultimates, I'm running 2 of the set 1.5 ShineGreymon. So I still just really like this card, and I think it actually comes in clutch at times. So if you don't know what it does, it has the when Digivolving effect of you may play 1 yellow Tamer card from your hand without paying its memory cost. However, the on-play effects do not activate. So this doesn't really come up too much that don't activate unless you're trying to play your TK, which then does hurt. But the reason I'm really running this is because its inheritable is insane. With the inheritable of if you have 3 or more yellow Tamers in play, the security on top of this will gain security attack +1. This is nice to give your ShineGreymon an extra punch and can really come in clutch actually. So yeah, definitely 2 with that. And overall, 8 ultimates isn't too bad. I definitely had to make some room for stuff and squeeze stuff in. So I'm happy that I'm quite happy with that ultimate line really. And next up is the main card itself. This is my actual favorite card in the game right now. I've loved it since set 1.5, but for me, more than anything, it's just the artwork. I'd never actually seen Digimon before, and when I first saw ShineGreymon, I was like, whoa, something that wipes boards, looks insane, and has a really nice alt art. I need this in my life. So if you don't know what ShineGreymon does, it's a 4 Digivolve cost, which is something you definitely have to try and play around if you can, or just be aware of more than anything. But it has the when Digivolving effect of you can suspend all of your yellow Tamers, and for each of the Tamer that you suspend this way, you can activate this following effect. And the following effect is one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4000 DP for the turn. So if you have 3 Tamers out, you can Digivolve the ShineGreymon, rest all 3 Tamers, and deal 12,000 in 3 different bursts of 4. Now that could be all 3 on one big Digimon, meaning that you can remove a Mega, or it could be on 3 different rookies and being able to wipe 3 rookies. And this is the ultimate way to stop your opponent from rushing you, or just deal with boards that are really punishing you and just hurting. But also it has a really nice additional effect, which again, it just really isn't necessary, but it has a during your turn effect of this Digimon gains plus 1000 DP for every Tamer that you have in play. Now, it just really helps the survivability of Shine when you're checking security, but also it's a big beater then, because if your opponent swings into security with a Mega and you go into Shine and it's still your turn, you can actually swing into their Mega and still survive, which is pretty critical when you're wiping your opponent's board and then you're getting ahead. Really nice card. Next up, we are running 2 ShineGreymon, which I did mention earlier, of course. So Slash is just very fantastic in this set, and it's going to be even better in set 5. It's still going to be a very critical card for yellow, and it's just been good since it came out, really. So if you don't know what ShineGreymon is, it's a 3 Digivolve cost Mega with the when Digivolving effect of one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 8000 for the turn. Now, I already talked about the WarGrowlmon combo that you can do with Slash, using the WarGrowlmon to do minus 4000. And then slashing to do minus 8000 on a Mega to make it 12, removing pretty much every Mega in the game apart from level 7s and what is it called, Nidhoggmon, which is 13k for some reason, because the game Bandai really likes to punish us. But yeah, it's really nice, and I just had to fit room in for this because it can really come in clutch if your opponent's a little bit ahead, and then just being able to like remove, like even if like you're going back and forth, but if you remove their ultimate and they've played it out, you're ahead then, and then you can start to build stuff else to then continue to remove your opponent's stuff, and then that's when you're really starting to like build that energy up, and you're really starting to get there. So definitely like the 2/. And to finish off our Digimon in the deck, we're running 2 of the Chaosmon Valderarms. So this is just an amazing follow-up effect for the ShineGreymon, even for the /Angimon, and if you can get it up. So if you go into your Shine, wipe a board, and then they play something really ridiculous, so like a Magnadramon or just something really big, and then you can Valderarms to just remove it as well, it just punishes even more for your opponent. So if you don't know what Valderarms does, it has the when Digivolving effect of, you can activate the following effect twice, and that effect is one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 7,000. So this is really nice to be able to remove Megas too, but also just like 2 Ultimates, 2 of anything lower, really nice. So nice. It also has an on deletion effect of gain 3 memory, so if your opponent decides to swing at it, you're going to gain a little bit of memory back. It can force your opponent to have to end the turn, and in this deck where your Tamers will gain you so many memory, making your opponent end the turn is really good. So yeah, for my options cards, I'm running 2 Blinding Ray. Now, I went back and forth on this. There are Eden's Javelin, which is the card that I was actually very tempted to run, because in this deck you can actually build quite a big hand, and Eden's being able to deal with a singular target is nice. Also, it has that security effect to be able to do exactly the same thing. So I was tempted to, but the Blinding Ray just really helps with you being able to play your ShineGreymon and then still do things in a turn. So if you don't know what Blinding Ray does, it's a 0 cost options card with the main effect of you can trash the top card of your security stack and you gain 2 memory. This is fantastic, really nice, because it means that if you have your memory tamer out, that's going to put you to 3 memory at the start of your turn, that you're actually going to go to 5, and that means that you can then play your ShineGreymon, and then it still be your turn to you do additional plays, which is really nice. So next onto the main thing that the deck's built around is the Tamers. So we're actually running 4 TK Takashi in this list. I think some lists are running 3 for ShineGreymon, but I just thought it's so critical in this deck specifically that you get that memory at the start of your turn out, and you want to be able to draw one of these as soon as possible to be able to just then build things, because otherwise then you're really on the back burner, because the deck can be very slow if you don't have this out. So it's a 4 cost tamer with the start of your turn effect of set your memory to 3, and then the on play effect of on play, you look at your security stack and then you can reveal 1 card from among it, and you add that to your hand, and then if that's a yellow Digimon, you gain security +1, so you recover a security. Now, a few things about this. This card is mandatory. You have to take a card from your security stack. So if there's only white cards there or red cards there, you have to take it, and it is a self-damage. But for the most part, this really helps with getting a piece. If you're missing something, as I said, this can get a bit cloggy at times. So the TK giving you something that's critical, so giving you an ultimate if you don't have one, is really nice. Really nice, and being able to play this with that red Rise Greymon means that you can still get the effect going off and still be able to basically draw a card, and more importantly see what's in your security, which is strong. Next up, I have 3 Carry Kamiya. So Carry is one of the reasons why the deck becomes so nasty later on in the game, and the reason why you play 4 more late game in this list. So it's a 3 cost tamer with the effect at the start of your turn, if you have 3 or less security, you actually gain 1 memory. So your opponents will actually want to be very wary at putting you to low security unless they can do a lot of damage fast because of Carry. Carry being able to give you +1, +2, or even +3 additional memory at the start of your turn every turn is pretty darn ridiculous. On top of the TK too, you'll have 2 of these out late game, so you're getting 5 memory at the start of every single turn, which really starts to add up and really starts to put your opponent behind. So be wary that your opponent will more than likely try and keep you above 3, and that's why cards like the Blinding Ray come in useful. That self-damage actually does help. And to finish off the list, I'm actually running 2 TK Takashi. So this TK Takashi is the one from the trial deck, and the reason we're running this is because obviously it's a tamer for yellow, so it fits with what the deck does, but also it's a 2 cost tamer, meaning we can memory starve our opponents if we want to, but it's just a cheap and effective way to actually get a tamer out for that shine. But also, it's during opponent's turn effect. Overall, just isn't too bad. It states that all of your security Digimon gain plus 2000 DP, which means that if your opponents swing into security, then a lot of the times, if you have one or even two of these out, it's going to kill something. If you can manage to get two of these out against Yellow WarGreymon, it means that all of your ultimates are going to be killing their WarGreymon when they swing if it's 11k, which really comes in clutch. But yeah, that is my yellow ShineGreymon list. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks!